YouTube. What is cracking, man? Obviously, it's been a fun journey on this YouTube career with football/soccer and animals and cutting challenges and everything else in between. Professional tag, body cams. I literally watch it all and I try my best to post it all, okay? So this past couple weeks has been crazy into football and soccer, and it might stay that way. You know what? That might be kind of where we're leaning. But today we're turning back the clock. We have a tier zoo video, a reaction to some animals/humans video. We do all of this stuff on stream, all the variety, but YouTube only gets so much of it. So in this intro, I'm just clarifying that I see all your comments. I want to get everything out to every single thing because I know this channel has brought in a plethora of different interests. So I want to be the hub of that. So I'm doing my best. I love you guys, YouTube. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers. If I think about that for too long, I'll end up shitting myself and crying at the same time because I'm so happy. But I love you guys, man. Again, I'm going to try my best to get everything out to y'all. Keep watching. I'm going to keep posting. All right, and as always, man, I'll see y'all real soon. Peace out.
Stream.
Let's watch how humans broke the game. Let's see how he broke the game, yo. Let's see how he broke the game. I know it's going to be teamwork, scheming, things of those nature. Oh, shit. Yo, what is this footage?
Humans are the current #1 build in the meta, but they haven't always reigned supreme. In fact, at first they were one of the least powerful builds in the meta.
What?
And it took several buffs, refinements, and tweaks before the human became even remotely threatening within its home server of Africa.
Bro, we had to get buffed?
So today, we're going to break down all the different variations of the human build throughout the history of Outside and discuss their unique traits, stats, and abilities.
Our
with the
strength
hope of
is probably
demonstrating
way
why
down.
Some of these skill tree choices worked, while others couldn't compete. The first players to unlock the human class were a group of African primate mains that switched from the knuckle-walking quadrupedal build to a bipedal one.
Whoa.
It's important to note that at this point, they hadn't sacrificed their arboreal mobility perks yet, and relied heavily on their ability to climb to escape danger.
Okay.
The top tiers at the time were all large terrestrial mammal builds far too strong for Australopithecus to challenge them, so their only option was to avoid them. It might seem counterintuitive to switch to a bipedal build when your playstyle is centered around the arboreal zone.
Whoa,
but
this
the reason
footage.
this was so crucial was because it freed up their hands to be able to carry items back to their tree. This was the first step towards refining the cooperative, loot-sharing playstyle that have made humans so dominant in the current meta. Now, you might be surprised to learn that the devs have nerfed humans in the past.
What?
The tree-dwelling strategy was seen as a cheap way to avoid dealing with other players, and so the devs decided to reduce the number and size of trees in the Africa server. This forced humans to ditch their arboreal strategy and spec into ground-based abilities. And for a while, humans got absolutely
damn
players. Even with the ability to use items and create tools, the other builds in the region, like saber-tooths and giant hyenas, were far too strong for humans.
Giant hyenas? Oh,
fuck no. They relied solely on the thieving skill to get by. But this disadvantage was slightly mitigated by their newfound ability to crack bone using tools, letting them scavenge for marrow after big cats had finished with a kill.
So how did we lock
Once
in?
Humanity had scraped together enough evolution points by scavenging, they finally got to level up some of their stats and give themselves the ability to survive by hunting rather than scavenging.
In the
They
Discord,
spec'd into
Carson.
longer legs and less body hair, allowing them to finally unlock one of the human's most powerful signature abilities.
Hunting.
Sweating.
Alright.
Sweating allows the player to recharge their stamina even while moving, whereas other builds are forced to stop and use the pant ability to recharge stamina.
What? Is that real?
They could justify putting all of their evolution points into mobility rather than power, because by this point they'd also leveled up their crafting enough to make spears.
Oh.
The staple best-in-slot two-handed weapon until the invention of gunpowder. A sustainable source of meat is worth a lot more XP than fruit or scavenged marrow. So much so that this let humans finally start leveling up their intelligence to a truly staggering level, promoting both cooperation and innovation.
Bro, cook it!
But once again, nerfs were on the way. Just before the Ice Age balance patch hit, a faction of the human player base migrated servers, establishing themselves in the Europe server. Most of the others stayed in Africa. The Ice Age patch hit, and it led to two very different changes in the two servers that the humans were playing on.
Okay.
In Europe, as you probably expect, the overworld temperature dropped and ice damage became a threat.
Ice damage?
The humans, as well as most of the other top players there, spec'd into bulkier builds that could survive the cold better.
Wow. So cause of the Ice Age, people got buff. People got ripped and massive.
Short, the update didn't really affect them too badly. This group became known as the Neanderthal faction.
Yes, I know
The humans that remained
Neanderthals.
in Africa, now known as the Sapiens faction, faced a much worse update.
The drought.
Ironically, during the Ice Age, Africa got hotter and drier. The large herbivores humans had such a good matchup against all left, and the human player base in Africa was reduced to the brink of extinction.
What?
With player counts below 10,000.
Peace out,
They
YW
survived
Gifted.
by leveling up their fishing skill, scavenging for shellfish and other low XP
Okay,
sources,
so this is where we got fishing
as
skills.
they too made their escape from Africa. When they finally escaped Africa, they were finally back
Yeah, you
in a
can
server
then,
they could
Toddy.
thrive in. But they had competition.
Neanderthals.
Neanderthals had the highest stats of any human build in history.
So what were Neanderthal stats? They had max intelligence, pretty good power, pretty better defense than whatever these things were, same mobility, more HP, and a little more stealth.
They had
Damn!
bigger brains, more girthy bodies, stronger muscles, just undeniably a more viable
So
build than
Neanderthals are a
Sapiens.
better build.
So by this point, I'm guessing you're wondering, well, if Neanderthals were more powerful, why is it that
Peace out,
eventually
Bray.
the Neanderthals lost the faction war to the
Yeah,
Sapiens?
how?
It turns out that their physical superiority was actually their downfall. Neanderthals and Sapiens had a very different hunting strategy when it comes to taking down large herbivores. Neanderthals had the strength to defeat them with melee combat, and had the defense and HP to be able to take a hit or two, even from some of the Ice Age's
Damn!
herbivore builds. They were also fast enough to be able to close the distance between themselves and their targets. This all sounds awesome, but there's one key detail in this plan that you might have noticed.
What?
Since Neanderthals were fit enough to take on these herbivores face to face, they didn't have to invent ranged weapons. Sapiens, on the other hand, would get one shot if they tried to
And Sapiens invented bows.
take on behemoths like mammoths or woolly rhinos in close combat. Thankfully, even though their brains weren't as big as Neanderthals,
Oh, no,
it
they
was
just-
still more than enough for them to be able to use the aforementioned crafting skill
Throwing
to create
spears.
the first ranged weapon.
Okay,
the
throwing
atlatl.
spears.
Atlatls are a relatively simple yet effective item that allows the user to launch spears over twice as far. This
Wow.
was critical for the survival of Sapiens.
Were they
as it
actually
allowed
hitting
them to
fucking
match the
animals, bro?
DPS of the Neanderthal, but
Wow.
also stay out of range of a potentially devastating
makes sense.
counterattack. Sapiens also tended to have bigger party sizes. Neanderthals were less social and tended to stick to small, tight-knit groups, while Sapiens formed much larger communities that could
Sapien. Oh my god, this is crazy.
control much larger territories. Eventually, even though Neanderthals were the better fighters, they were the ones failing to find enough XP to survive. And this is where their physical might became a huge detriment. The
Why?
bigger you are, the more energy you need to survive. And so the Neanderthals' strong, powerful bodies eventually became unsustainable. Most of them were defeated in combat or starved, although a few did end up actually switching factions and joining with the Sapiens.
What? You can fucking do that?
But finally, after defeating their most dangerous opponent, humans were free to dominate the game as the new top tiers. They mastered several key advanced techniques such as agriculture, archery, and sailing, allowing them to push the meta far past what other builds ever thought possible. You'd think that they would all work together to rule the game, but unfortunately, many of them ended up engaging in PvP with each other.
That's so
It
stupid.
kinda makes sense given that other players are hardly even a challenge, but nonetheless, infighting is their biggest weakness right now. Anyways, hopefully that gives you a better background on the history of the game's most overpowered build. Oh, by the way, I bet many of you noticed the incredible footage of ancient hominids that
Yeah.
I used in this video.
How?
This footage is from a brand new documentary called Out of the Cradle, which was animated by Square Enix, the masterminds behind the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest video games.
That's sick.
It's available right now on CuriosityStream, a streaming service that has over 2,400 titles, including
That's fucking sick, bro. Okay, I just actually learned a boatload of information, bro.